cars here. Hello there everybody and welcome to the show. One moment, let me just unmute Mark. Obviously as the stream's warming up we do have a little bit of a laugh. Swear words get said.
I don't swear.
I have to make sure he is muted before I start the stream. So yeah,
I'm a
how is
teacher,
everybody?
I
I hope you're well. Thank you for joining us on this about alright Wednesday night.
Better than mediocre.
Obviously, it's the usual dealio. It's the weekly news, and down to my, I got it right that time. Down to my bottom left, your bottom right is Mark. His channel name is Centroid, so feel free to check him out. He is linked in the stream description and also is in the chat there, and I'm sure he'll post the odd bit of fluff in the chat now and again just to try and rake in some subs. painting you in a really good light here. Yeah. Gary! Yeah, hello there. Jewish Redneck Preppers, hello, thank you for joining us. Yes, so we always ask this question to start the show, Matt, but do you have any good stories?
Nah, they're all shite.
Yes.
No, I got some good stories. Okay.
I do apologise about the poor quality of lighting on my camera. The light bulb is broke, and I'm just going to pan the camera up for you. It's really, really high up. I'm not a fan of ladders, so I will get around to it at some point. But I have got bulbs to put in.
Steve, don't kid them. You're going for atmosphere
here. Yeah. Well, I was actually joking because my beard has become quite magical, and if it was fully lit, honestly, you'd all fall in love. You know, so the majesty of the beard would just blow you away. No one would want to talk about drone news. They just want to talk about the beard. You know what I mean? So, all right. It's not the Saturday show, I know. Right. FSV in the chat. Hello, my young apprentice. I hope you're well. It's been a while since we've been out flying, but I'm not registered at the minute, so there won't be any flying until I get registered. So. Yes, I don't know when that'll be, probably a month or two when the weather gets better, because there is the odd nice day, you know what I mean, but it's not, there's no consistency to the British weather at the minute. Paul Michael DB says, hello Magic Beard, Stephen. Yes indeed, it is getting there, but I can't fully light it because, you know, you'll just get blown away. So Brand Ariel says, how many Brits does it take to change Steve's light bulb? So far 2, but unsuccessfully. Right, so 2 and some good ladders. You know, my ladders are quite shaky, and I don't trust them. Yeah, I've got to literally go to the top flat bit, and it's still a reach. It's a really tall ceiling. Just doing that don't really do it justice, but that is like really, really far up. You know, and I'm fairly tall, and on the ladders I can't reach that. Yeah, Steve's not afraid of the dark. No, I'm not. I might even just turn the camera off, you know what I mean? The beard, you've seen it, but I don't want you to be enamoured by it, you know? Mark's like, can we just get on with drone news now? Yeah. No, since I've moved, I moved like 3-4 months ago, and I've got clippers. I just can't find the charger, so... yeah, that's my excuse. Yeah, so I hope everyone's well. You know what I mean? There's some great drone news tonight. Well, terrible drone news as usual, but I don't know. we'll get through it anyway, like we do, and put our own spin on it, like we do. You know, call it out if it's not quite up to par on the reporting side of things. So, Mark, how many stories do you have tonight? Because I have got so many tabs, but only 1 hour. So,
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 potential stories.
Okie dokie. Well,
I don't need to use them all, but I have them, and like I said, I'm going based on my mood and the whim and how things go based on what I think would be relevant at the moment. I got a couple that I definitely am going to do, but you know, it is what it is. So no, we're good.
Well, would you like me to start? Because I have 8,
Sure.
but one of them's like it's 2 articles, but it's one
All right.
story. You know what I mean? Just the
Yes.
same thing from different angles. So
By all means.
I'll start the show then.
Yep.
So this one's from Drone Life, and we do use their website a lot for these stories. So please visit them. We do link every story as well. So if you want to check them out yourself, you can link them and all that lot. And we do read out sometimes the entire articles and stuff, but we do give all credit where credit's due, which is all fair play. So this one is flights resume at Frankfurt Airport after drone sightings halt air traffic. So here we go, Mark. We've got another one, and you know what's going to be said in this. So
is the G word mentioned?
The G word is going to have to be used tonight. Drones continue to cause costly delays and confusion at European airports. The latest event halted traffic at Frankfurt Airport yesterday morning for almost 2 hours, according to German language media. A federal spokesperson said that a pilot spotted a drone at about 11:15 a.m, at which point the German Air Traffic Control, DFS, announced via Twitter that all takeoffs and landings would be suspended. The drone was seen again at noon. Police used helicopters in an unsuccessful effort to identify both drone and operator. Flights resumed around 1 p.m, and authorities continue to investigate the incident. Already sounding a bit shady to me. This is not the first time that flights have been suspended due to drone sightings at Frankfurt Airport. Last May, the airport was shut down. February 8th last month, it was shut down again in what authorities deemed a targeted, disruptive action. In total, reports the German media, Frankfurt had 28 drone sightings last year. The most recent airport closure affected North Rhine-Westphalia's Prime Minister Armin Laschet, whose plane could not land in Frankfurt and was diverted to Cologne. Since the 2018 Gatwick Airport incident, a deliberate attack timed at the heaviest travel season of the year, drone incidents have become more common, and the costs are heavy for travellers, airports and the drone industry. While drone defence and security systems exist and are developing rapidly, they've not yet been efficiently implemented at most international airports, and stakeholders are demanding action from lawmakers. It is unknown whether such laws as the proposal for remote ID for drones in the US would do anything to limit bad actors with intention from disrupting airport activity. Now, the interesting thing is about this article, it's written by this lady, Miriam McNabb, and she is the editor-in-chief of Drone Life and CEO of Jobs for Drones, a professional drone services marketplace, and a fascinated observer, remember, of the emerging drone industry and regulatory environment for drones. Miriam has a degree from the University of Chicago, blah, 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 blah. And she's wrote this, but since the 2018 Gatwick Airport incident, a deliberate attack timed at the heaviest travel season of the year. Now, if you've listened to me just one shred, you'll know there was no drones at Gatwick, right? There's enough evidence for there being no drones. Overwhelmingly, there's not a scrap of evidence of drones at Gatwick. And then if we just flip over to the next article, like the next page in the book, this is another article on it. I'll just read this real quick. Just copy that and put it in the chat for you. This is from New Europe. .eu, so hopefully anywhere outside the EU you should hopefully be able to read it. So the airport in Frankfurt, Germany was shut down for nearly 2 hours Monday after a drone was spotted over its southern part, police said. Blah blah blah. They searched the area with support of helicopter after a pilot reported the drone. Several flights were cancelled or rerouted. The incident was the second time in weeks that the airport had to be shut down for an hour because of the drone sighting. And then obviously 28 drone sightings were reported there in 2019. So, like, over 2 a month, right? And no one's been caught, apparently, including in this latest one. So someone's flying a drone for 2 hours, right, around Frankfurt Airport. And Frankfurt is a big German city, right? And they had police helicopters there. Now we know, don't we, that police helicopters have infrared cameras. And they've caught no one. Does this
Steve,
is this sounding very suspicious, Mark?
of course. My first question is, okay, where's your video footage showing the drone flying around?
Yes.
If a pilot can see it and it's near the airport should train their cameras and at least get video. I mean, let's put it this way: if you're an authority and you wanted to prosecute, what better way to prosecute but to have video evidence of said drone flying in the airspace it should not be flying? So I call BS on this story because, again, they keep talking about drones being sighted, but yet nobody seems to actually see the drone except for one person.
Yeah. Not only that, but get some bloody goddamn dash cams in your planes.
Exactly.
Right? So not only can the pilot say, I saw a drone, but in real time, just on a little display somewhere, can just roll back the footage
And go, look, there
have it
it
in
is.
nice crisp 4K, be able to zoom in and just go, there's nothing there. It's a bird, or it's a bag, or it's a balloon, or something like that.
It's the scapegoat of our generation. That's all it is. And
It is.
And I think half of it is to promote the regulations that they want to do on drones. It has
Not
nothing to
only
do
that,
with
I
actual
think
dangers.
There's an article that I want to get to as well, where anti-drone technologies are now a huge industry, and it seems as though they're in league with certain people. I'm not gonna. That's just my own thoughts and opinions. Nothing that I've got nothing to back
Are you
that up.
suggesting a conspiracy?
I am hinting at a possible conspiracy between the makers of this anti-drone technology and big airports. It wouldn't surprise me. These big airports are multi-billion dollar businesses which are owned by umbrella companies as well. Lots of stuff goes on behind the scenes with them, and it wouldn't surprise me, if there is some shady back.
I mean, as ridiculous as this sound, you might as well get a harpoon gun to catch the whales that are strolling across the tarmac as well. I mean, you're going to be purchasing technology for drones that don't exist.
Yes, indeed. Well, yeah, that's the thing. But I mean, the airports have enough money to do it, so
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. No evidence, no video evidence.
In today's age,
no one suspected.
They should be ashamed of themselves. I mean,
No
like I
drones.
said, all they need to do is unleash a couple of my high school students with their phones, and if there's a drone, they'll catch it.
Yeah, this is the thing. 28 drone sightings last year close to the airport.
And not
Over
one
two a month. You'd think they'd be on high alert for this thing, right? Nothing. No evidence.
Not even. I mean, again, you could have standard FLIR cameras or heat signature cameras taking video. At least catch something that might be a drone and is giving off some sort of heat signatures, because we know that batteries give off heat, and show, well, look, there is something there, whether it's a drone or not. But give us something, please.
Yeah.
Please, Lord have mercy.
There's nothing.
Nothing.
And for this lady in the first article, who's apparently a professional drone services marketplace CEO for Job for Drones, and a fascinated observer of the drone industry, that's a bad call to be putting in an article about drones, surely.
Yeah, exactly.
Without even questioning the authenticity of these drone sightings.
Not to mention the fact getting sucked into the whole conspiracy that there were actually drones at Gatwick too. I mean, really, you fell for that one, huh?
I'm gonna have to do some sleuthing on this, but if it turns out that this airport in Frankfurt's got the same computer system as Gatwick and Heathrow,
oh, there you go.
There's your link. There it is. Because I mean, to this day, Gatwick and Heathrow still keep having to ground flights because of the computer system. Do you think that's some sort of conspiracy, Mark?
Maybe.
I can't confirm that this airport in Frankfurt has the same computer system.
We
but
cannot
it wouldn't
confirm
surprise
nor
me. A lot of
deny.
airports are all owned by the same company, and they have big contracts to do all
Yep.
the airports and stuff.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Huntress of the Unknown says, "Hi Steve, hello there. I hope you're well. Rattletrap Fishing's in the house as well.
Oh,
hello,
nice.
buddy. Frozen Fury, hello
Nice.
there.
Hello,
Thank you
Frozen
for joining
Fury.
us.
Nice to see you, man.
009 in the house. Yeah, man, spot on.
Yes.
We're just talking about a possible conspiracy between some airports including Gatwick, Heathrow, and Frankfurt, because apparently Frankfurt has had 28 sightings of drones around the airport last year, and apparently this week, only yesterday, this was resolved. Apparently, has had 2 more drone sightings near the airport. There's been no evidence of drones, no video footage from CCTV, bystanders, aeroplanes, nothing. Just only one person or whatever's account. It doesn't say who spotted them. And there's been police helicopters there with infrared cameras. And not one bit of footage exists of any of these drones. Same as at Gatwick, same as at Heathrow. And now, it turned out that while all that stuff at Gatwick was going on, that Heathrow was having issues, but they have to admit, they admitted that it was a computer issue and had to refund everybody's money. Whereas at Gatwick, they said, oh, it's drones, and no one got refunded because of extraordinary circumstances.
The fine print.
We're just pondering whether something similar is happening at Frankfurt Airport, because them computer issues persist at Gatwick and Heathrow to this day. And it wouldn't surprise me if they've gone and got the same computer system around the same time or later on, and they've still not ironed out all the bugs. That's my thought on the issue. Yes.
Oh, it is definitely suspicious. And again, it's a simple solution to proving that it is or is not drones. But they won't use the cameras because they don't have the proof. That's my suspicion. And again, they are just bad-mouthing drones and using it to their benefit.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Rattle Trap Fishing asks, Huntress of the Unknown, how are you? I'll ask in my very posh British voice when I put it on. Rattle Trap Fishing says, Huntress of the Unknown, how are you? There we go. A little bit gravelly there, actually. Huntress says she's great. Awesome stuff. Nemi2K, Airport Frankfurt sucks hard, by the way. Smiley face. Yeah, this story is badly reported as well, and even bringing Gatwick into it. Anybody who knows anything about drones cannot say with any degree of certainty that drones were at Gatwick. So why she's brought that up, being a fascinated observer of the emerging drone industry, if she was that fascinated, she would have done some research on Gatwick.
Yeah.
That was like world news for like 2 or 3 days, right?
A responsible journalist, she is not.
No. So Miriam McNabb, your honour and your journalistic integrity is being brought into question. So if you ever want to defend your honour, feel free to come into the chat or private message me or whatever. And
hey, maybe she could be the first and only guest ever on the Transatlantic Drone.
If you would like to be a guest and defend your statement on Gatwick and come up with any evidence beyond nothing, then I'll listen to it. Okay, but until then, please don't refer to Gatwick as a deliberate drone attack, because there was no drones there. No one can tell me otherwise. I ain't seen one shred of credible evidence that drones were at Gatwick.
Nope.
Mic drop.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No,
exactly.
Wait, let me take my mic off here.
Yes.
Drop the whole damn
there it is.
rig here.
Yeah. Okay. So that's my story there done with. Do you have anything to add to that, Mark, or do you want me to flip over to your story?
No. I mean, I don't have anything to add other than what I've said already. It's a shame. It's a scam, and it's a bunch of BS. That's it. That's all I got. All I got.
I'm going to do some sleuthing. If I find out them computer systems at Frankfurt are the same ones at Gatwick and Heathrow, I am going to be calling it out. Don't worry about it, because it's unfair. You're tarnishing the drone community's name with these false BS claims, and I don't like it, because drones get enough flack as it is.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's getting harder and harder to be a decent drone flyer. It really is, because you only have to mention it to people and they go, "Oh, you've been to Gatwick recently?"
No. Or they'll say, "Which one are you?"
And then you spend half an hour going through all of the counter evidence that there was no drones there, and then go, "Show me a bit of evidence that there was drones there," and there's none, apart from 100 credible eyewitnesses that have never made any public statements. Okay, right. Enough about that, Mark. I'm changing over to your story.
Okay, no problem, no problem.
You know how Gatwick gets me, though. That's the
Oh, I
problem.
know it gets under your skin, and I totally
Okay.
understand it.
Okay.
So,
We're
this
over to you.
report, we're over to me. Okay, this report, it's loosely drone related, only because for selfish reasons, and I'll explain as I go on. It's from CNN, and yes, I know some people refer to that as a communist news network, but this is the business news here. So I'll post this article in there. And again, let me, bear with me on this. It's about the coronavirus. It's about shipping. Global shipping has been hit by the coronavirus. Now goods are getting stranded. And I'll explain why I picked this story as soon as I get through some of it. So let me read a bit of this for you. Shipping companies that carry goods from China to the rest of the world say they're reducing the numbers of seaborne vessels as measures to stop the spread of the coronavirus. Spread of the coronavirus, crimp demand for their services, and threaten to disrupt global supply chains. About 80% of the world goods trade by volume is carried by sea, and China is home to 7 of the world's 10 busiest container ports, according to the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. A closure of the world's manufacturing hub impacts container shipping at large, as it is a vital facilitator of the intra-Asian and global supply chain, says Peter Sand, Chief Shipping Analyst of BIMCO, an international shipping association. Everything from cars and machinery to apparel and other consumer staples are shipped in containers, and distribution to the industry could reverberate far beyond China as the country seeks to contain the coronavirus outbreak by keeping factories shut and workers at home. The longer the health crisis lasts, the harder it will be to move goods around the world. The coronavirus outbreak supposedly has killed more than, I'll say that, 560 people and have infected at least 28,000, mainly in China, where close to 60 million people are living in cities and on lockdown. Floating quarantine. The shutdowns means that some ships can't get into Chinese ports as the loading and discharging of goods slows, said Guy Platten, Secretary General of the International Chamber of Shipping, a trade body. Others are stuck in dock waiting for workers to return to port so that the construction and repairs can be completed. Still more vessels are idling in floating quarantine zones as countries such as Australia refuse to allow ships that have called at Chinese ports to enter their own until the crew has been declared virus-free. Blah, 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 and it just goes on and on and on. Now, I think everybody understands that companies have been. I don't know where DJI stands on this. Do you know if DJI has opened operation yet? Because there was a point where DJI shut down.
Yeah, as far as I know, they're still not operating.
Okay. And the reason why I said this is because, I fly FPV and I decided to make some changes to my fleet, and I'm going into what they call Crossfire. Decided to order a controller and some receivers, and every place I go, they're on back order. Everybody's ready to take your money, but the disclaimer is because of the coronavirus, it is undetermined as to when these things will be available to ship to you because they're out of stock. So it is affecting the drone market. It's affecting lots of markets. So if you're looking to buy a drone that you want to order directly from the company, if you're into FPV and there are parts that aren't made here in the States, chances are they're made in the Orient, you're dealing with complete shipping shutdown here. And I have no idea. I've even put an email out to Get FPV, which is where I bought these parts, saying, I understand that, I'm totally in agreement. I get it that I'm not going to get it, but I'd like to know if they're going to give me updates or they have any predicted idea of when shipping may resume. They probably don't even know the answer to that. I'm sure I'll get you'll know when we'll know conversation from them. Oh yeah. Careful, Gary. Didn't Trump cure the coronavirus? Oh, he did that last year. In his spare time. So, again, is it a drone story? Not necessarily, but it is loosely related to it. And if you're into drones and you're into buying them or, repairing, building, whatever the case is, you are now going to be affected by the coronavirus because of lack of shipping. So I don't know if anybody else is being affected by this. I know there are certain fashion industries that, of course, are being affected by it. But I'm a bit selfish because when I went and ordered it last night, I'm like, do I order it? Do I not? I pulled the trigger, and then I'm like, you know what? I probably won't see it till next year now.
Possibly.
So, yeah.
Now, on less drone-related news, it's predicted that if China still carries on not operating at full capacity like it has been doing, then the world's heading for another massive economic crash.
I mean, look at what the statistics say. They have 7 of the 10 largest shipping operations in the world. I mean, they are
The
the hub, so
powerhouse
to
out there.
speak. They are, going in and coming out. So Corona extra beer sales are way down.
That doesn't surprise me. I thought it'd actually boost the sales, but then obviously people are thinking, oh, it's called Corona beer. I might get the virus from it. You don't want
Doesn't
to take that
Corona?
risk. You got to do your research.
Yeah, but it
That's
is.
the
Doesn't
thing.
you'll have to? You might be able to confirm or not confirm this. Doesn't Corona essentially refer to some sort of halo light effect around
Yeah,
something
a
like the
Corona is
Corona?
just a ring shape. Yeah.
Yeah, ring shape. So it's just a shame that now something as pleasant as, well, if you like Corona beer, is now associated with a virus. Lovely. Here, would you like a lovely bottle of Corona? It comes with a box.
We're best stop talking about Corona beer in a negative way, otherwise we might
No,
get sued.
no,
Yeah.
no. But instead of a lime, you get a box of tissues. Hey, whatever.
Oh dear. Yeah, I'll tell you what, although the coronavirus is devastating, there's some hilarious memes.
Oh, I bet there are.
I'm not going to talk about them, but a few of them you
No.
scroll past and you're like, no, that one's pretty good actually. In a terrible situation, the sort of British way is battle through a sense of humour, you know what I mean? At the minute, there seems to be about 20 or 30 new cases every day in the UK at the minute. So
Yeah, well,
it's taking off over here. It started off as 1, then it was like 3, then the next day it was like 20, and then now we're up to nearly 90 now.
Well, we're starting to
90
rack up.
confirmed. So if there's 90 confirmed, there's got to be 90 unconfirmed.
Yeah,
And as soon as you reach them sort of levels, it's just exponential. You know what I mean?
Now, has the UK experienced a rise in deaths due to the coronavirus? Has there been recorded deaths yet? Because
I'm
here in
not
the
sure if
States,
there's been any fatalities yet.
here in the States, it's starting to rise. I don't want to give a number because I don't know for sure. But let's say I think it's at least 10 people have been recorded dying. At least 10 people have recorded dying due to the coronavirus here in the States.
Yeah, well, not to worry too many people. I know we're going way off the drone news, but it is quite relevant. Even at the early stages of the coronavirus in China, there was leaked reports and leaked footage from China saying, people on the ground saying, the hospitals are full. The people coming up with the symptoms, they're just being turned away. They just can't deal with it. And then it's got to a point where the doctors and nurses have now got the virus. So anybody they're seeing who hasn't got it is then getting it from seeing the doctor, just with the symptoms. And they can't put anything on it, whatever the officials are saying, it's probably 10 times what they're saying and claiming, on the actual people infected and the death count from it. And one guy, he released a video walking into a hospital, and, I'm not going to get too graphic with it, but the beds were full. It was absolute chaos in this hospital. And just in like the 3 or 4 minutes before he got thrown out, he saw 2 people die on the tables in there.
Oh, Jesus.
That's how bad it is over there. That's why they've quarantined entire cities, But obviously it still gets out. It'll still blow on the wind. There'll be products still moving, do you know what I mean? And things like that. Not good. Not good stuff.
Yeah.
Not good. Don't mean to worry anyone, but that is how it is. And this guy in China he released that footage and he was immediately arrested. Because it goes against the government's rules. In China, unless you're posting something positive or government approved on social media, you're breaking the law. Simple as that. The communist sort of dictatorship, innit, basically.
Yeah.
So
Freedom of speech is not free there.
no, it's not. No. So he got arrested immediately and then he got released a few days later and got told on social media to put an apology message and said that's not representative of the situation or anything. And he had to do that just to avoid full jail time for it, But the video still stands, and if you want to look for it, I believe it's called something like leaked footage from inside Chinese hospital or something like that. And you'll watch it and you can tell it's not fake. You wouldn't be able to get that many actors and whatever. And there's obviously family members there. If that's acting, that's some of the best acting I've ever seen. Like,
Yeah, right.
you know what I mean? That's better than Hollywood grade acting. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So, not to worry you. Right? So, you know, and I know it's not a funny subject, but
Yeah.
you know, if it ends up wiping out 80% of the population, that's what some doomsday people are saying. I'm not kidding. They're saying, you know, once it takes off and that, you know, could be 80% of the world like infected by it and all that lot. And that's it. I'm going to get some masking tape. It's going all around my windows, all around my doors, everything. You know, I'm going to self-quarantine. That's the new term, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, just when you believe you might have it or you've been somewhere where it's quite like common, you know, you got to self-quarantine. You know?
Right.
I'll be doing the opposite. I'll be going nowhere and self-quarantining just to seal myself in with nothing. You know?
Right. Well, it's a scary thing. It really is. It's a scary thing, and we'll see what happens. I mean, as it is now, we're supposed to be going to, you know, we're supposed to have that trip to Croatia this summer, and that's at risk now. So we may have to cancel that trip because I don't think there's going to be much traveling between countries. We're going to see what's going to happen. So.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Well, I think we've rounded that story up quite nicely. If you're after drone parts and everything, obviously a lot of them come from China.
Yeah.
Good luck, because you're probably not going to get them in any sort of hurry.
No.
On the plus side, if you own a lot of drones, give it a few more weeks to a month when everyone's crying out for drones. You might be able to even have a bit of markup on your own stock, right?
Exactly.
Because people will be that desperate for them, they'll buy anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
possibly.
So,
good point.
So I might even have a buyer for my broke Mavic. You know, it needs a new main board A, a main new board B, and a new gimbal. So if you can find them, then you're laughing. Right?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. So over to my next story then. Let's
what do you have next, sir?
There we go. And obviously, we do this show for an hour, but we prioritise stories in terms of goodness, you know. So this one's only a quickie. This is from commercialdroneprofessional.com, and paste that into the chat. I'm willing to bet we'd get a lot more viewers if I titled this something to do with the coronavirus, just because it's trending. You know, and then they come in and it's like there was like a 5-minute bit about the coronavirus, the rest was drone news. Right, okay. But never mind, no, I'm not like that anyway. So Ministry of Defence selects tethered drone systems for Royal Navy project. The Ministry of Defence has selected tethered drone systems to be part of Royal Navy DARE innovation project. As part of the plan, it will deliver a tether system that can be integrated with a Ministry of Defence air platform to support and enable trials. The trials will be used in order to evidence and inform naval capability on potential future deployment. In the announcement, it was confirmed that the concept project will start soon and run over the coming months. Tethered drone systems said it was a great opportunity for it as a young business and SME to work with the MOD and other defence suppliers to showcase its innovative design and development skills within the specific area. So that is obviously just a quick story there, but that's obviously a picture there. EBRFPV, hello, welcome to the stream. You've just missed the bit about coronavirus there, you know, and a possible conspiracy at Frankfurt Airport. Different story, possible, alleged by me, but alleged nonetheless. So this is interesting. I've always been quite interested, you know, Mark, in these drones that are tethered, because obviously it gives you unlimited flight time as long as you can keep supplying it with power and maintaining it. I'm just wondering what the applications would actually be. I mean, like, obviously the Royal Navy is the UK's Navy, but I mean, why would you need a tethered drone on the deck?
Well, actually, earlier on, I did a story quite a few months back about tethered drones that were connected to convoys, land-based vehicles, and essentially they used them as antenna. So basically, you had a tethered drone that could stay up in the air for an inordinate amount of time and act as a land-based satellite station, so to speak, something that could send and receive transmissions because you have a much higher antenna. You can get farther distances so they were using it for those kinds of capabilities as well as surveillance and stuff like that. So who knows? Maybe that's what they're doing out at sea, creating some sort of communication network where you get better reception and transmission. Who knows? I don't know, but I think that's what they were doing with the land-based versions of that.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I just wanted to share that because I do like the stories of like British innovation and all that lot, and obviously military capabilities. But you know, that's just the way I roll. So that was just a quick story for you, and I do have other stories I want to cover. I just wanted to squeeze that one in because I like the picture. Right? So, yeah. I like the picture.
I like the picture. Why do you like that sports team? I like their uniforms.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Are we ready for your next story then?
Sure. Okay. And I apologize in advance, but seeing as we are a week, we're at the ending of the FAA response time, I figured I'd at least wrap it up. With this article that says new FAA drone rule is a giant middle finger to aviation hobbyists. So I just posted a link to the chat, and this was written after they closed the window for responses. And I'll give you my own personal experience, and the numbers have changed. It was kind of interesting how this happened. It says more than 34,000 people have deluged the Federal Aviation Administration with comments over a proposed regulation that would require almost every drone in the sky to broadcast its location over the internet at all times. The comments are overwhelmingly negative, with thousands of hobbyists warning that the rules would impose huge new costs on those who simply want to continue flying model airplanes, home-built drones, or other personally owned devices. And I'll continue to come back to the article, but last week, the last day, yes, I am a bit of a poster child for procrastination. I finally polished up my response and sent it on the very last day of that they had the window open for responding to their regulations, proposed regulations. And at that time, it was around 36,000 people who had responded. And I'm trying to think of the number, but unfortunately, it does sound like a lot, but when you think about it, in the States, I think they have recorded at least well over 200,000 participants in this hobby. It would have been nice if there was a few more, but hey, if you responded, thank you very much. And if you haven't responded, the fight's not over. I got more to add to this as we go on. But the funny thing is when I submitted it, I went to go check to make sure that it was accepted. So I went to the website. I got my little docket number. I typed it in. It's like a tracking number, and it said my response hadn't been posted yet. So I was a bit concerned that I didn't make it in time. So there was a phone number, and I called the phone number, and I got somebody. Oddly enough, this is through the Department of Transportation, and the guy confirmed that I had done everything right and that everything was submitted, but it's being held because they want to read them all. Because, of course, they don't want comments to go up that are vulgar and offensive and such. They want them to be fairly constructive. And at the time of that point, he goes, listen, there are 38,000 that have been posted. They had gotten 7,000 more within the last day, okay? So the numbers have increased. So that 34,000 is a little low. And at that point, it was the day after they'd closed the window. It was still open for comments, and people were still commenting. And I said to the guy, I said, so basically, if I have a friend who hasn't commented, they can get on and comment. And he goes, yeah, that's general procedure. We do this all the time. There's a window, but we generally keep it open. I said, for how long? Oh, he goes, it's usually open for days, which is kind of funny because literally that night when I went home, it was shut down. It was shut down. So apparently the FAA said, no, shut it down.
Yeah. Pull the plug.
It's
become self-sustaining. It's starting to develop its own gravity.
Exactly. Yeah. Because people were onto it and they were still responding. So, there are worse procrastinators than me. Let's put it that way. Yeah. And as of the time they had closed it, it was well over 50,000 comments had made it in.
Ooh.
So the numbers had grown. So thank you anybody who proposed it, or I should say who responded to the proposal with whatever you did. And I watched videos. I was talking with some other people, and they said, I'm not going to do it because they're not going to read them. It's just a formality. They want to make it look like it. Now, if if you're into FPV and you watch videos from people like Ladrib and Josh and Bardwell and stuff. Ladrib, who's a member of Rotor Riot, I believe, they had contact with the FAA, and they had good feelings that the FAA really does want to listen. They really do want to read these comments. So they felt like it was worthwhile to put the effort in and do it. And I couldn't have lived with myself if I didn't reply, because why take the chance and not reply, right?
Yeah.
So I spent some time writing a letter. Was it wasted time? Who knows? But at least I can say I tried. Now, let me see if I can open up this email. Well, actually, I'm not going to open the email. I can read it. And that's why I said if you responded, great. If you haven't responded, keep your ear open for any opportunity that you can help, because the owner of Race Day Quads, which is a fairly significant large supplier of FPV equipment and drone equipment, materials and parts and such, they're opening up a lawsuit against the FAA, going against the constitutionality of these proposed laws. They are willing to put their money where their mouth is, and they plan on suing the FAA if they pursue these regulations. And I found that amazing that a company is putting their money where their mouth is. Now, let's be honest. This is their livelihood, so it's in their best interest to fight this, because this could shut them down. Because if you read this article any further, it does essentially say, and I'll even read just the little blurb here, the headlight. It says FAA expects home-built aircraft to be phased out. So if that happens, then Race Day Quads is down. But the problem is, and that's why I said keep your ears open, the owner of Race Day Quads says that if this goes to the Supreme Court, they're talking about a minimum of $1 million in legal fees to do this. And they can't support that. So they will probably be opening some sort of GoFundMe page to help support the legal battle in this case. So again, if you responded, great. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Keep your ears open. If you haven't responded, there's probably still an opportunity to help the fight. The fight has just begun. So please keep your ears open, and let's hear what's happening next, because at least Race Day Quads is willing to fight this, and they're putting their money where their mouth is. Yes. So thank you very much, EBRFPV, if you replied. I really appreciate that. And I know that Gary Brandt Ariels replied as well. And you don't even have to come from the United States to reply, because I know that they accepted Gary's response, and he's from Canada. So let's just see what happens. Let's just not let it go without fighting.
Yeah.
And again,
for
I'm not
everyone
going to go
in the US who has replied to that, thank you, because I'm sure that when these new EU laws come in later this year in the UK, that I'm sure they're going to take everything that happens over there into account, and probably expect a similar backlash if they try and do anything like that in the EU. Yeah. So. And
if there's one thing you can do is if you're a drone flyer, please follow the rules, fly respectably, keep it safe. Don't do anything that would draw attention to the activity to give them an excuse to do this. Which brings me to a question I have for you, Steve, and for anybody in the chat. I got a question for you, and it's kind of a hypothetical situation, and respond any way you want. Let's just say, Steve, I don't like you.
Mm-hmm. That's not hypothetical.
And I witness you flying a drone. Let's say you're here in the States, and I witness you flying a drone, and you're doing fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but I don't like you. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call the FAA and report you for flying a drone in a dangerous fashion. Would anybody here in this chat consider that a good thing or a bad thing? I mean, I know it's a loaded question. I know most people how they're going to answer this, but would anybody here find that a bit off?
Yes.
And my concern is, I get it. If you don't like somebody and you can get at them because they love flying drones and you want to bang them into the FAA, I don't know if that person, if I were doing that, if I would realize that not only am I hurting that person, but you're hurting the hobby. You're bringing attention to somebody who's flying a drone properly and saying they're not, and giving the FAA a frickin' excuse to continue their rampage against remote UAVs.
Yes.
So I just find that low class, and please don't do that if you're considering it.
Yes. Don't be ringing up the FAA or the CAA on people.
Yeah, that is just
full stop, because we will call it out.
Yes. No,
Okay.
seriously. I've had discussions with people who said they don't care about the rules. They're going to fly near airports. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. Now, could I have called the FAA and warned them about said person? Yes. I'm not the drone police. I'm not, I hate to use a schoolyard term here. I'm not a snitch, but I did educate the person, say, listen, you do what you think you need to do. And if you feel you're comfortable doing that, that's fine. But if you should get caught and you get a $20,000 fine, just understand that I warned you that this could happen. So again, educate people if they're doing things inappropriately. If you see somebody flying inappropriately, talk to them about it. But to call the authorities, sorry.
Yeah. Now, just as an example, right? The Facebook drone community, on the most part, is okay, but they have been infiltrated by some goody two shoes, self-righteous. I can't say the next word. I'll say bleeps, right? Because they are. And one of these people came over to one of my videos. I don't know whether through Facebook or whatever. And they commented, oh, that was clearly beyond 500 metres. That wasn't a legal flight, blah, blah, blah. I'm reporting you to the CAA. And I just wrote back, please note the date that was uploaded. Before that date, your FPV view was considered your line of sight. Please read the rules before you report me, because you'll just be wasting your time. Have a nice day. Never got anything back. So if they did report me, the CAA have looked in, gone, the date it's uploaded, it was a legal flight. You can't then go a year into the future when the rules have changed and go, nah, that's illegal now, so we're going to do you now. It don't work like that. Right? That's not the way the law works, unfortunately. So, yes, all my flights are legal. If I've been somewhere, I've had permissions, or I've flown from outside the property and just pointed my camera in there, you know, not stayed well outside, you know what I mean? But if somebody did want to report me, then they could, and the CAA would do a full investigation and all that lot. But it'd be wasting the time. You know, this is the thing. If someone's flying legally and you don't like them, don't report them. Simple as that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
Well, again, as badly as you'd like to report somebody doing that, unless somebody's in mortal danger, okay, I get it, which we know is going to be rare to none. You're not doing the rest of the hobby and the industry any favors by bringing attention to something that's fairly harmless just because you are at odds with a particular person. Yes. Find some other way, please.
Yes.
Leave us alone. Leave our hobby alone.
Like you say, if you think someone's flying terribly, illegally, dangerously, just approach them one-on-one. Just say, look, that's not cool. I don't agree with that.
Wait, are you suggesting they handle it like an adult? How dare you?
Not in the drone community.
Oh, how dare you do that in an appropriate fashion? No, we want to be snipey.
Yeah. Well, you know, we know the vast majority of people in the drone community are absolutely lovely.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, we're not going to be naming names, but yeah, that's where we're going to leave it for now.
Yes, yes. So, just again, let's wrap up the story. Folks, keep your ears open. The fight's still on. See what you can do. And if nothing else, keep flying and fly safely, fly responsibly within the guidelines, and don't give them an excuse to take the hobby away. End of story. On to you, sir.
Okay. Yeah, if you think the rules are bad now, imagine what they could be.
Yeah.
Okay, right, switching over to my story then. We'll go a bit more positive on this one. It's been a bit of a downhill thing. It's like a props broke. You know what I mean? So we've been on a downward spiral for a while. So I'm going to paste this into the chat. This is from Techie Expert. So Techie Expert, yeah, I'll pronounce it that way. .com. So go and check out that website. And this is 12 mighty drone applications you should know. right? With a picture, obviously, of like a crop sprayer drone. And that looks like a nice... I don't recognise that model. Do you recognise that model, Matt?
No, no, it's got kind of a Matrice look to it, but I don't know for sure. A
Yeah.
lot of these are frames that you can buy and make your own drones with. I don't know if that's a proprietary one, but it looks like a traditional quad frame, but a very large one at that.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Okay. So drone applications are a modern gadget that is gaining huge success all over the world. Sale of the drone is rising per year, and people are going crazy over drones for their personal uses as well as other uses. You may think, what is personal use of the drone? Then let me tell you, it's clicking selfies for recording videos, etc. When talked about, other use drones can be used for military purposes, fishing, farming, etc. There are other ways too where you can use the drone in the future after doing some technical changes. Drones have changed the way how we used to look into the technology of the camera. They are having enhanced the horizon of how we used to take photos and record videos. In other words, you can say sky is not the limit anymore, because now drones have arrived in the world and they have turned the world upside down. You may think, how can the small looking drone camera turn the world? Then let us tell you, it has the power to various things which one cannot imagine. Apart from clicking selfies and video, you can use them to catch the fishes, to express delivery, shipping orders, crop monitoring, surveillance, search, rescue operations, cargo transportation, etc. If you want to know in detail about the application where you can use drone technology, then read this blog to know more about drone applications in different segments. So it's right here. So I'm not going to read all of these because it's a no-brainer. So we've covered a few different, well, more than a few different applications of drones, haven't we, Mark, over the time?
Yes, we have. Yeah.
So number one, aerial photography. That covers 50% of drone users, I'd say, do it
absolutely.
Do it for footage of some description. Number two, disaster management. We've heard a few stories of that as well, haven't we?
Yeah.
Delivery and shipping, we've talked a whole lot about companies wanting to buy up airspace for delivery and stuff. Search and rescue, there's been several stories from the UK alone about people being found and they would be dead or a lot more serious condition if it wasn't the use the use of drones. And that's hobbyists assisting the police, not necessarily police drones. Geographical mapping. So you can do that LiDAR thing with drones, and then you can survey land and things like that. Agriculture, now we've seen all sorts of agricultural uses of drones, Mark, haven't we? Crop monitoring, monitoring the health of cows and livestock even. That was one story, wasn't it? And it could pick out ill animals out the herd, out the flock, whatever. Weather forecasting, by using drones, scientists can predict weather conditions. Suppose in a hurricane-stricken area, you can send the drone to take the proper insight of damages and see the behaviour of the hurricane. These insights will help weather forecasting to predict the weather. Entertainment, you can use drones for the purpose of entertainment too. In the Fight Club, where the drones of two contenders are facing each other in a fight, one drone which will demolish the rival drone will be considered as the winner of the match. I've never heard of any of that, Mark. Have you?
I know
drone fighting.
I've heard of robots. They do the robot fighting, and that's a fairly significant competition. But that is all ground based, and they're in a cage and stuff like that. So we call it battle bots here in the States.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen it done with drones yet.
Yeah, that'd make a good TV show.
Yeah, well, they do that on TV.
Razor-tipped
People
propellers.
love it. Oh Lord.
Yeah, monitoring of wildlife. We've had a few of them. There was one about the crocodiles and the snakes, wasn't there?
Yep.
Yeah. Enforcement of law. Now that's another big one, another big application. The UK police force is expanding their drone departments rapidly because of how much success they're having across all fields of law enforcement. Construction, yes, and heavy industry as well, not just construction, in terms of surveying facilities. And they're actually, you can put any type of camera on them. So you do X-ray camera on like pipelines and other vessels and stuff, and see cracks and weaknesses in them, where otherwise you'd have to get guys to set up scaffolding around some seriously dangerous vessels full of all sorts of nasty chemicals.
I mean,
and things
listen,
like
you
that.
had that video of you on that lift looking at the inventory in that one thing. They could use drones in a warehouse like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Imagine
absolutely.
instead of a reach truck in like a warehouse, like with the high racking, instead of that, you've just got a vehicle like the same size, but then like a tethered drone that you can send up to look.
And not only that, you have the QR and the barcode readers on them, so the drone could actually read what's in the box and transmit the data and so forth and so on, and so many applications.
Yeah.
So,
And that'd be far cheaper than a full-blown reach truck, I'll tell you that.
yeah, and safer.
Yeah. Newfound Drone Productions, hello all. Them reach trucks, without a pallet on them, they weigh 3 tons. With a pallet, it can lift a 1.1 ton pallet 4 stories into the air.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and I've been put in a situation where I've had to be on the forks in like a cage with no safety equipment, with a driver who was absolutely rubbish, and sent up to the top layer of the racking in a cold store as well, and that was not a very happy time up there.
No.
I'm not a fan of heights as it is. Not good. Yeah. Lauren Amy in the chat. Can you make me a ham sandwich, please? In the next 10 minutes, I need to go to sleep. Can you believe this? Invading my stream with sandwich requests. Yes, of course Lord. I will, babe. Just let me finish the stream. Okay. Newfound Drone Productions. Hello there. Welcome to the stream. Says hello all. It says hello to EBR. Hi Mark and Steve. Thank you very much for joining us, mate. We are going to wrap up in around 5 minutes, something like that, because I have a sandwich to make. So, yeah.
Priority, Steve. You got to take care of this.
EBR would like one as well. Just let me know in the chat if you want a sandwich making. That's all good.
And Steve will deliver it by drone.
That's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea, that. And then lastly, military drones. Now, obviously, when it says military drones, we're not just talking about hobbyist-sized drones. We're talking about the Reaper drones and all sorts of other ones that have live ammunition and bombs and everything. The military love them, to be fair.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. Now, do you remember that funny story, Mark, about the RAF trialing them drones, and they cost like millions of pounds each,
and they crashed a few of them.
What was that quote? What was that quote by the RAF guy?
Oh, I don't remember.
It was like, you went and buried that in a tree or something, like, well done or something, wasn't it? Like millions of taxpayer money, just like someone takes off and they've not done the controller right.
And it's like their response is, break another one out. Let's get the other one out.
Yeah, wheel another one out. We've got another 20.
Bring it out. Bring it out. We'll try it again. Yeah. Try it again. You'll get this. You'll get the hang of it.
One more. Yeah.
Lord.
Dear.
Well, to add to that, did you mention anything about fishing?
It mentioned that at the beginning of the article, yeah.
Have you ever seen drone fishing, which is a bit of a controversy because some people don't think it's very sportsmanlike? Have you ever seen how drones fish? Well, no. Have you ever seen any of those videos? Okay, if you go down where people, a lot of places off of beaches, they fish in the ocean. They stand on the beach. They cast way out there to try to hopefully catch a school of fish, and they fish literally from the shore, and where people, after people are done swimming and such, and they're fishing. Well, that's sport because you don't know if you're near where the fish are, and you're looking. That's why they call it fishing, not catching. Well, some people have gotten pretty resourceful, and essentially they've created a release mechanism. So one person has the rod and reel. Another person connects the bait, if you will, at the end of the line to a drone, and it's maybe 30, 40 feet long. The drone will then fly out as the fishing pole releases its line and keeps it slack. The drone will fly out and with its camera locate a school of fish and then gently lower the bait into the middle of the.
So it doesn't even go plop, so you don't spook the swim.
So it goes down, and now what happens is, and if they do this right, if a fish takes the bait, as it pulls, it's enough tension to release the string, the fishing line from the drone and not pull the drone into the water. So basically, boom, it releases it, and now you've got your fish. The drone flies back, you reel your fish in, and rinse and repeat.
Yeah, that's the equivalent of seal clubbing.
Yeah, I would say.
That really is.
I would say, like I said, it is a bit controversial because people don't call that fishing; they call that catching. It's like,
Yeah.
so are you? I think it's innovative, it's creative, but come on, guys, it's like literally, leashing a deer to a pole and then shooting it.
Yes.
Not sportsmanlike.
Not sportsmanlike at all, is it?
Oh,
No.
keep note, your order is getting specific for the sandwich. No cheese.
No
Did you want would
cheese.
you like mayo, mustard, relish? What else would you, tomatoes, lettuce, Lauren? What kind of bread would you
Lauren,
like?
I can't stream under these conditions. I can't. I'm going to come up there and I'm going to have to put my foot down. No sandwich. Okay. Put a dislike on the stream. I don't care.
And Lauren, what's your choice of beverage?
An ice cold Dr. Pepper.
There you go. There you
Yeah.
go. You've become the equivalent of the drive-through, Steve, right here
I
on your
know,
own screen.
I know. Oh, crikey. Right, okay, so would you like to cover one more story, Mark, or would you like to round up
I
here?
do have another story that is actually a fairly positive drone story. Yes.
Okay, right. I'll switch over to you while I go make a sandwich.
Okay.
I'm only kidding.
And this story comes from Popular Mechanics, and I'm very pleased to say that they finally updated their stories. They don't do they don't do these often, and every time I go back, it's the same stories we've reported on. But Popular Mechanics, good magazine, it's some neat stuff. The drones that track down buried warheads. A truck-mounted multiple-barrel rocket launcher can send 48 missiles flying towards the target all in a minute. Such a launcher is highly mobile, very fast, relatively cheap, and easy to operate. No wonder a weapon like that is popular in conflict regions. But the launcher's questionable quality can cause the missiles to occasionally misfire, which is why they often litter the ground in targeted areas. The problem then is finding them. Now scientists think they have tech that have the tech to easily track and retrieve them. At last month's American Geophysical Union annual meeting in San Francisco, researchers reported a new technology to identify these unexploded ordnances, or UXOs as they refer to them, from the air. Using hybrid drones and shrunken technology, the scientists can survey up to 100 acres an hour and have a map of possible armaments within minutes. This kind of evolutionary moment when the two technologies are meeting for the first time, the miniaturization of sensors and the dependability of drones, says the lead study author Alex Nikulin, I think as you pronounce it, geologist, Binghamton University professor. The union of these two things changes the game. So again, they show, I don't know if these are actual armaments. I don't know if these are just test pieces, but they're showing these missiles on here. Truck launched missiles spray across 600 meter wide area, says Nikulin, compared to a single location, and the targets move. For example, if you have a checkpoint that is in one place this week, next week someplace else. Shelling can be almost continuous, but not every missile explodes. Out of this barrage, Nikulin says, anywhere from 20 to 40%, and as high as 80%, depending on the quality of the missile, of the explosives can fail to detonate, which essentially means you have hundreds of acres littered with unexploded warheads, and what a mess that could be. The hybrid drones, although people can find errant missiles, the task is less than ideal. On-foot surveys could take a long time, and the risks are high. Drone surveys can remove the human element and reduce risk, but drone flights are notoriously short, making surveys difficult. The big problem we ran into was when we started this was battery life. That is the issue with most things drone related. He notes that prior drones from inexpensive to premium had short 15 to 20 minute flight times. We can't use those drones for wide search areas. So again, there's a picture of a drone that looks to be, I don't know if that's a piece of survey equipment that's scanning. I don't know. I don't think it's lifting a missile. I doubt that. Oh, here we go. It explains. In an airfield in Ukraine, the scientists tested how a drone carried micro-fabricated magnetometer might detect 3-meter long missiles. UMT flew the Cicada over the field with the magnetometer dangling below. So that is a piece of equipment that is used to detect unexploded ordnance. So there you go. another positive use for drones, which
Nice.
unfortunately requires or is the result of battle, which sucks. That's bad as it is, but at least we can try to clean up the areas of unexploded warheads. End of story.
Yes, and you hear of stories to this day of unexploded ordnance from World War Two,
Oh yeah,
right?
Vietnam also. Yep.
Yeah, butterfly bombs, full on massive bombs that have been dropped. And when they find them, in comes the bomb squad, cordon
Right.
off like the entire area for about half a mile, and they do a controlled demolition on it. So they'll actually detonate it just to get rid of it. You know what I mean?
I just realized.
That's not a safe job, right?
No, it's not a safe job. And not to change the topic, because I know I was reading at the time, but I noticed that Lauren's yelling at you. Get in the kitchen and make me a sandwich.
It's been 10 minutes. What are you gonna do? Please don't come down here.
The kitchen light is on.
Show's
You have
over,
no
guys.
excuse,
She's like, no, it's not. Bats the mouse out my hand. Yes, well, we are now 5 minutes over the 1 hour. So I hope you've all enjoyed the show. Mark, I have a stream ready to raid if you're ready.
perfect. I'm perfect because I was about to look, but I didn't get a chance to.
Yes.
So
I've been doing my
Where are
homework.
we going?
Yes, indeed. So this is Phantom Flight 101.
Oh, they're
weekly
on
show.
tonight. That's right.
Yeah, the Wednesday night with those guys, number 45. And I'm sure you already know these guys, but anyway, please put in there aerial raid. Although a lot of drone channels have aerial of some description in the title. That's all good.
How about Aerial UK raid?
Aerial UK raid. Okay, let's do it. And I'll go over there in a minute. Please don't leave me hanging. Do you know what I mean? Go over there. I'll be watching.
No,
don't
Steve
leave
will
me
be
hanging.
making
A one-man raid's never good. It's not good for the street cred. Right, so I'm going to put the... we can do Tadar raid. Let's do that. Let's do
don't
Tadar raid.
let him kid you. He will have his channel tuned into those guys, but he's going to be making a sandwich.
Yes, but I will interact with you in the chat for approximately a minute. Then when I've done making a sandwich, I'll come back and continue interacting. I'm going to make a sandwich for myself too. Not completely selfless. Okay. Yeah, okay. So there's the link right there for the Tadar raid. So thank you for the suggestion, Brant Aerials. So please don't leave me hanging. Let's go over there. Do it now real quick before we end the show. And let's just do that. Tadar radded. What's that? Right. Oh my god, it's gone absolutely out the window, that. Yeah, please join me over there with a quick Tadar raid before I close out the show. Now, Mark, are we doing a show this Saturday?
I have no problem doing a show this Saturday.
Okay, please join us Saturday night then, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Eastern US, and 10 p.m. UK time. Please join us. That'll be on my channel this week. So join us over there. The Saturday night show, we go way off topic. It's really good. Please join us over there. There we go. EBR FPV's gone over there. I'm in there as well. Stick a like on there. Stick around. They're all a bunch of good dudes. And hopefully see you all on Saturday night. I hope you have a good week. A good weekend if I don't see you. You know what I mean? Just stay safe. Be happy. Lots of love. You know what I mean? Hope to say, Mike, before I close out.
Nope, just have a good week, and we'll see you on Saturday.
Yes. Take it easy, everybody. We'll
Take
see
care,
you again
everybody.
soon, okay?
Bye-bye.
Farewell.